Oh, good morning. Yeah, Michael's just said more to come. I'm pleased to hear it, Michael. That's really good. Right, so we obviously, I was at the director trip last week. I came back last Saturday evening, and it's been kind of full on since then. So Nigel, bless him, has been um, making sure that he picks up the slack while I have been not 100%, but improving daily. But it's just every now and then I just get really tired. So, kind of people just have to accept that. So, David's in the car already. Hi, David. And he's going to be he's coming to the Heathrow meeting later. So, um, it's what I wanted to share with you was really about the new product that's actually been launched, or pre-launched, I should say. We've actually been given one when we were out in director's trip in Lanzarote. It's a Multify. It's a children's supplement, and it's not a gummy. It's a chewable supplement. So actually, it's really, really simple for kids to chew, and it tastes nice. And I have tasted one to try one to see what it was like. It's really pleasant. So ideal for all those kids, and it looks a bit like Viva. So I've only had one, as you can see, but I'm going to test them on my grandkids. But that is really very important, because what they have said is that they didn't want to introduce a gummy, and yet gummies are the standard for kids. Was the fact that they obviously then introduce sweetness and things like that. So although it is a little bit sweet, and it's with a kind of a natural sweetener, but it's really simple to use. So I can see the kids, and kids only need to take a couple of them. I'm going to launch into let me share my screen. Okay, so this is Multify, bit of a kind of not multiply, Multify. And obviously it's a chewable supplement, and I think it's long awaited. And I think with the introduction of the original, kind of the children's version of the balance oil, which is the tutti frutti flavor, it's based on the tutti frutti flavor as well. So they've carried that along. Um, it's quite an interesting concept. Now, these slides, I do apologize in advance, because these slides are literally snapshots of the pictures that I was taking. So my apologies for the clarity of them. They're not brilliant, but so got a few more people coming in. Okay, so this Multify, sorry, not Multiply. Multify is an alternative for children, because we know that kids are being offered different supplements all the time, and these supplements are quite often not as good as they make out. And from the minute our children are born, they are being introduced into processed foods. And processed foods, obviously, bear with me, I'm just having to let people in. Can I make you co-host, Nigel?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just about to suggest the same thing.
Yeah, I will.
I dialed in rather than actually logging in.
Yeah, no, I realise that. Make co-host, right? So then you can just let people in.
Yeah.
So obviously this is Ida Pedersen, who is one of the doctors who actually kind of works with Zinzino. She is the one who has actually put this together and is part of the process of developing the product along with Colin Robertson. So from the minute our children are born, we stick them in front of a TV, or not in every case, but they're introduced to little snacks and things like that. But every aisle that you see in the supermarket now is filled with processed food. So they're being exposed to it from a very, very early age. So it's the norm, and we don't want it to be the norm. It's really not good to have that. So the kids' healing, healthy eating plate should be a combination of water, kind of oils, grains, carrots, vegetables, fish, healthy protein, all those things. That would be the optimal, things, making sure that they're having a combination of those foods. And unfortunately, what we're seeing now. This is what we should be having. So the healthy triangle of eating plan should be massive amounts of fruit and vegetables and water, fresh water, smaller amount of grains, etc. And obviously fish and cheese and things, and then kind of oils and honeys and things. But it should be the minimal of the amount should be the processed foods. So we know that people go to McDonald's, go to KFC, go to those places, but it shouldn't be the norm, because this is why our children are becoming so unhealthy. And that's why we're seeing much, much higher test results when we do the test. Now, when we were out in the States the year before last, we tested my 6-year-old, my friend's 6-year-old great granddaughter, and she came at 55-1. That's horrific. That's horrific. I think her cellular membrane was something like, I think it was 35. I think it was about 35. So she's not absorbing any goodness from any food because she's eating too many processed foods. And we also need we need to get out of the habit of having the ultra processed foods. And we need to have a proper foundation of diet. So what we're finding now, these are eaten by all age groups. We're finding they start their breakfast, etc., with processed foods. They have their lunch. You can see here the difference here, and small amount of fresh food and vegetables, etc. So it's the wrong way round. They've like tipped it upside down. The ultra processed foods are detrimental to your health. End of story. So we know that children start their day with maybe even as young as literally a couple of months old by having something that dissolves in their mouth. All these are ultra processed, and yet they're natural. They're, Ella's, Kiddelicious, they're all supposed to be a natural thing, but they're all processed. So they're being exposed, as I say, constantly. Sweet corn, kind of they make those into puffs as well. Though, so that's, sweet corn, carrots. Why just give them the fresh fruit and vegetables? That's far better for them. Better their gums, better for their teeth, everything. Breakfast, if these feature in your cupboard, they don't in mine. But I know that my daughter has had those in her cupboard when her children were younger. She actually now chooses a more kind of organic and gluten-free and things like that, trying to avoid those processes. But quite often now my granddaughter says, "Can you make pancakes, please, Yaya?" So that she's actually prefers it if I make the pancakes for her, and the kids both love them. So rather than eating these highly processed foods which introduce so much sugar and salt, you've only got to look at the ingredients on these and it's really frightening. So they were saying that children now, the classification of foods marketed for infants, look at this, it's up by 30%. 30% of up to under 2 years of ultra processed foods. And I'm sorry, I do apologize for the fact that this is actually very blurred, but it was in this event and I was taking photographs from a screen. So we need to know also how much of the children's energy is taken from ultra processed foods. Now this scared the living daylights out of me, because we've now overtaken in the UK, and I presume that includes Ireland as well, 61 to 68%, as opposed to the USA, which is 58. They're actually starting to take notice. That is frightening, the fact that our kids are constantly eating processed foods, sweets, everything, cookies, really frightening. And so they obviously know that those processed foods have an impact. And obviously you will get a full training on these when it's actually launched, and I'm sure that Ida will come over at some stage and be part of that as well. But this is just these ultra processed foods. What it's doing to our system is so damaging, and that is a real worry. So the negative effects of UPF foods in childhood: it increases energy intake, it creates nutrient imbalances, and it also creates a suboptimal dietary, kind of amount. It's really not good at all. So those habits become instilled in the child, and so they spend then their kind of up to their adolescence in creating more unhealthy habits. And that's really, again, what we're trying to avoid. So we've got to turn it round and re-educate the families, the parents, children. We see more ADHD than ever before, and that was never around in our time when we were children. Never heard of anything like that. But we all used to eat, kind of fresh foods. So what the company have done, keeps on. So we all know that these things here are the ones that people kind of go, oh, I need that. Oh, I need that. Oh, I want a McDonald's. Oh, I want a, kind of packet of crisps and things. But we know that these are very high in calories, saturated fat, salt and sugar, but low in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and definitely fiber. So all these things, again, we're trying to address. And so the obesity project that they've done, this is the data. Now, this is again worrying that you see so many children deficient have an inadequate amount of nutrients within their system. And so all these things, you kind of think, wow, if we're going to be so deficient by the time of 8 years old, kind of from 3 months to 8 years old, that's frightening that it can be so challenging to do that. Now, when I was saying to someone yesterday, when I had my daughter 41 years ago nearly, she was brought up on blended food that I had made freshly. She didn't like the processed things, so we only used fresh foods. And I'm very pleased to say she's very fit and healthy. But there are children who just lived on chicken nuggets, things like that. Children didn't like coming to tea with us because I didn't do chicken nuggets or chips, but all those things. These are proportionate inadequate intakes of fat soluble vitamins by age, gender, and life stage categories. And again, I apologize for the fact that it's a little bit blurred. But I think what the basis of this is that the company see that there's a problem and we need to address it. So we need to bring those nutrients back into the diet. And I remember, and I'm sure kind of the older people, we used to be given like supplements within school. You'd get a spoonful of, I don't know, cod liver oil, or a spoonful of, and I remember Viral. I don't know whether anyone else remembers it. Viral was a malted, I don't know what it was, extract, but it was really tasty, and that was like to boost us up as well. But we need to bring those nutrients back into our diet, especially as children, so that we actually now are producing kind of better class adults, if you like. So why do we need to do that? So we're needing to fill those gaps of the key nutrients that they're not getting in their diet. And if they're not getting in their diet, we know that balance oil actually adapts so well for kids because it means that you don't have to change their diet dramatically, but it means that you're going to get all the goodness that you need. It's going to mean you're absorbing that much more. But we also need to do the other things like all the vitamins, the A to K, zinc, iodine, beta glucans, and zinc. All zinc on twice there. But all those things are really important for children in their development stages. And we need to, first of all, the taste was the thing, because the company has said they didn't want super sweet because most supplements for children are super sweet, and they really wanted to make sure that they were meeting the daily requirements, creating those healthy habits, but empowering children and families as well. Because if you can do that, and literally, so a child from, I think it's from 4 till 11, 1 to 2 tablets a day. So that would, if you've got 2 children, that would be 2 tablets, kind of for each of our grandchildren, for instance. So they would need 2 of these a month. But it's just 2 tablets, and they're crunchy. They crumble up in the mouth, and they're very simple to take. So the development of Multify you know, it's been a task. It's been something like 2 years in the process. We've been asking for it for 5 years since we've been involved. And so it's been created by the parents, backed by the science and all the, you know, kind of the development that the scientific advisors do within Zinzino. But it's more importantly, it's been tested by kids. I love that, the fact that they did the same with the children, with the balance oil with the kids. They wanted to make sure that the kids would take it. So it was that being able to have a taste that was actually okay, it was good, and it wasn't super sweet, wasn't a gummy that's going to stick on their teeth. This just dissolves, you know, and crunches and dissolves in the mouth. It's very, very good and very absorbable. So it's got 16 essential nutrients, 12 vitamins, 2 minerals, beta glucans, and it's got choline. And I wasn't aware until the presentation how important choline is in cognitive health. I really wasn't aware of it, so I am now. But choline was one of the things that I just kind of went, oh, I wouldn't even have thought that. But they've put in 40 milligrams of choline in 2 tablets. And that really is enough to ensure that your child is going to get those, everything that they need, all those essential nutrients. It's non-GMO, it's 100% natural, it's gluten-free, and gluten-free and sugar-free, which is cool. Daily recommendations, as I say, from 4 till 11, 1 to 2 tablets. Adolescents, 12 to 18, 1 to 3. And then adults can even take his as well. So this is a good option for someone who maybe struggles taking capsules. So this is a really good option, but it tastes great. It's good. I know you can't read all the ingredients here because it's so blurred, so I'm so sorry about that. I couldn't take it. I've increased the size of this so dramatically as well. But it's got everything that your body needs for your development. You know, the person, Ida's got a 2-year-old child herself, so she was one of the testers. Orion and Hilda's younger daughter, or in fact all the children, were testing the product. So we know that that's so important to know that the kids are going to take it. And how it influences their health. Obviously, we need to improve that immune system in children so they're not falling sick all the time. The growth of children, brain development, bone development, you know, kind of making sure that your metabolism is in the right set and cell division and specialization is working. The DNA I can't say that word, synthesis, hormonal activity. Obviously, as we start to develop, our hormones come into action. But cognitive function, that is so important, and the brain development for children. And I'm sure that's why so many kids are having trouble at school and struggling at school, because they just don't have the right nutrition in their diet. And that's no fault of theirs. It's the parents, and it's down to cost and all sorts of things. And we know that those ultra processed foods that you buy in the supermarket are cheaper. We know McDonald's is cheaper. And so it's an easy option for a parent to get food into their children, but actually they're damaging them, in my view, far, far more than they should do. So obviously vision, skin, bones, hair, teeth function, heart function, blood formation and clotting, mucous membranes, nervous system, absorption and metabolism of nutrients. All those things, the protection of the cells from oxidative stress, that's amazing. All in 2 tablets. I think that's incredible. So we know that these things here, the vitamin A, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folate, all these things you can read here. Immune support, growth, development, cognitive functions, whole body support. I think they've done a sterling job, really. And we know that as much as we love our kids to be out in the sunshine and should be out in the sunshine rather than sitting on a sofa watching TV or playing on a Game Boy or whatever, PlayStation, it's far better. I know that our 2 grandchildren are always out in the sunshine and always out running around, being active. But I know that they're a minority because there are other kids who sit at home watching TV constantly and probably eating unhealthy snacks as well. And quite often it's down to keeping them quiet and you know, so that they don't disturb mum and dad. So these things. So immune support is really important, and beta glucans play a big part of that as well, and these other vitamins. And again, these are here. The beta glucans are really important for gut health as well. So that's all part and parcel of this product as well. And then the growth and development really comes into action here with all these different ingredients that we have. Cognitive functions. So the cognitive functions, you know, kind of the choline is one of the things that you can't see it. It's actually under here, under this picture where someone's taking a photograph, all these hands that you can see coming up. But it's really important. That cognitive function for children is so important. And I know that when we first tested River, he was 25-1 on his omega-6/3 ratio, and that ratio was way too high. He's now 6-1. And you just kind of think, he's been taking the balance oil. He doesn't always take it regularly, but he's still 6-1. So I'm really happy about that. But if we then can now add in this, that's going to make a massive difference to him and his cognitive health. And his cognitive health has been so improved since he's been taking the balance oil. We know that his attention span is much better. He's just very much more interactive. Obviously, the choline is one of the things that they're saying there's a huge deficiency in choline. Pregnant and lactating women and children are more likely to be vulnerable to deficiency of choline, and we should be having literally, was it 25.6, I think it is, milligrams a day. But it's really there to making sure. So we've got 1 chewable is 20. 3 chewables is 60. So we're filling that gap where we know that there's a problem, and that the beneficial effects then actually help with the cell membranes, the lipoproteins, and the precursors, these acetylcholine as well. So it's a clever product, and they've been very careful about developing it. Whole body benefit support from literally, you know, kind of your hair, collagen formation, all those things we know can be beneficial from all of the, you know, ingredients in this product. There's a product sheet. Now, I wasn't able to get one myself. I've got some. I'm going to ask someone if they can scan one for me that did get them. I had to go out of the room, unfortunately, when that was happening, and they forgot to pick me one up, but never mind. But it's, again, all these foods, it's a bit like the Extend. When they bought out the Extend, they had, you know, kind of a snapshot of all the things that you would have to eat on a daily basis in massive amounts to actually get the same benefits as that product. And they've done the same with this, which I think is really useful, because not every child is going to like eating carrots. Not every child is going to like eating beans and things like that. Or maybe fruit or avocados, but it means that they can get them within this product, and you can get it all in there. So it's a really great product. I think it's going to be a massive seller, and I'm really excited that that will be, you know, launched. Now, that's not coming out until 1st of June, maybe end of May, 1st of June, but it's been endlessly researched, really carefully created, and it's, you know, specially formulated for us growing humans in our lives, which I think is so it's going to be a similar price to Extend. We're not sure of the exact pricing yet, that's still in process, but it will be available from the 1st of June 2024, so which is when we have our leader school in the 1st of June, 1st and 2nd of June. So it would be a great place to be able to launch that. So that's me done. So I can't really answer too many questions on it, but if someone has got questions, then I'm more than happy to try. But I think it will be a great addition to, you know, our ever-growing small range of products. Any questions from anyone?
Is there a price on it yet, Sue?
No, I've just said they've not
actually announced the price.
It's going to be a similar price to Extend.
Oh, okay.
So around probably about £27.
Okay. Important thing to note: choline is also involved in the cell membrane production process. So it will increase the impact of balance oil in terms of making the cell membranes much more effective. A couple of other things that choline in adults, shortage of it, by the way, is one of the contributors to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Oh, wow.
Because actually choline is made in the liver. Now, if you haven't got the basics for making it, and your system is already compromised, and you've got an ultra processed food diet, which we know so many kids have, you've only got to watch that film Super Size Me.
Oh.
The guy who just fed on McDonald's for 30 days. And the basic thesis of it was, if you went into McDonald's and they said, do you want large fries with that? Yeah. He supersized his meal.
He had to supersize everything if they asked him.
And by the end of it, and he went back and had the test done that he had before he actually started on this diet, and his liver had basically ceased to function. Well, not true, I'm exaggerating to make a point.
No,
but what I'm saying is its efficiency had dropped off a cliff because it was just not able to cope with the way that the foods were produced and what the foods were doing to the body. So it's also key for adults to have fresh foods, because choline's commonplace in food. You know, it's in pretty much everything. Used to be classified as a vitamin B, but it's not anymore. And so we just have to be mindful of that. But in kids, of course, you know, as Sue was describing earlier, I know how often it is that Lauren will give the kids convenience stuff because she's ultra busy herself. You know, she's got 2 businesses to run and a husband that isn't around all the time because he's so driven to achieve the stuff they want as a family, that the burden of it falls on her. And most families are like that these days. And that's that. The other statistic that stuck out at me was how much energy is being effectively provided to kids out of ultra processed foods.
Yeah.
Now we know they're calorie rich, but they're nutrient poor. So this product is just, you know, everybody in Zinzino, there'll be a spike in business without a question when this goes on the market. I suspect for people like us, Sue and I, it's going to be thrust down the throat of our grandchildren. my expectation there is those of us who've got kids of their own, it'll be exactly the same. However, there's also a growing number of much younger people coming into Zinzino in a way which is going to drive a lot more awareness of this in a much younger age group.
Yeah.
Because again, and I know this is an empirical thing to say in the sense that we don't have a body of evidence yet to support the thesis that our kids, you know, the kids are getting worse than the generation before them in terms of their cell membrane health, because they're not balanced. Every child we've tried has been way north of the average that we've got for the adult population.
Actually, the only person, contrary to that, the only person we tested, Lolly, she wouldn't do the test until she was 6. And we tested her and she was 7-1,
yeah,
which is actually really good for a child. And I kind of thought, whoa, okay.
Oh, and on that note, it did pop in my head when you said it. 6-1 in children is fine.
Yeah.
Because they're growing. So there's a natural element of inflammation in their system that we as adults don't have, because the growing process is in and of itself, an inflammatory process. So while there's all this cell division going on, kids operate quite happily at around 5-1. 6-1 is fine. So we're not driving there. We don't have to get them down to an adult level, in effect, is what I'm really driving at. So Lolly at 7-1 was pretty much all right anyway.
Yeah.
River, however, was massively out, you know, 25-1. And pretty much every other child we've tested or we've witnessed being tested has come in at that sort of figure, above 20 in the main, certainly above average for adults. So it's a thing to be aware of. You know, the next generations, they're being brought up on this diet that's normal for them, but they have no understanding of actually what's happening to them at the cellular level. And you know, from a personal opinion perspective, all these people on the spectrum that didn't exist when we were kids are on the spectrum because they're badly nourished.
Yeah.
And they're pregnant, and the pregnancies their parents went through were also badly nourished. So is it any wonder that there is this kind of effect going on? I don't know whether anybody's studied that yet. I'll bet there's somebody
I'm
out
sure
there
that someone has.
well, somebody out there is doing a PhD on it at the moment.
Yeah.
In fact, I might even suggest it to Colin. He should supervise some kids in that, people are coming through postgrad to do this kind of work, because it needs exposing in my view. Anyway, sorry, I'm on my hobby horse. I wanted to say that this is just such a brilliant addition to the product line for us. It was one of the very first things I said to pretty much anybody who'd listened in Zinzino when we first got involved. What about kids? Because we've got grandchildren and they're the future ultimately. Anyway, that was my point. Anybody had any wins this week? Hands up.
Well,
any wins this week?
First of all, I'd like to welcome Paul.
Oh, yes. Oh, hi, Paul. Didn't see you there. Sorry.
Like to welcome Paul. Hello. Paul joined us the other day, and really pleased. We've been talking Paul stalked me on LinkedIn for about 2 years, which is quite amusing, really. And I went, oh, okay. And we've been speaking literally since last year, haven't we, Paul? And it's been an absolute pleasure that he's actually joined us in the business now. I'm so excited about it, because his background is quite varied. It's quite varied, but his whole thing is about helping other people improve their health. And he also writes wills as well. So if you need one, you can go and see him. But it's I think his passion is the fact that he wants to help people with their health. And and that's exactly what we do. We know we do it. He's also had a similar heart history to me, and in fact, David, who's on the screen as well, David's pretty well off all his medication as well, after a very similar heart experience that I had. And so, we know that we're making a change in people's lives. But it's so welcome to the team. We're really pleased to have you here. We haven't got a massive amount of people on the team today.
We should also welcome Tyrick, who is on but off camera, as one of the new partners in Ireland, and much younger than the rest of us on this call, I should add, and that's a very refreshing thing to have some young people coming on. Hi, Tyrick. Good to have you on board today. Nice to see you.
Yeah, good. Thanks for asking. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're all good, thanks. Yeah.
And Tomas is on his way down to see you, I believe, on the train at the moment. So
yeah, he is at 2 p.m. We should have a meeting at 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. to get started.
Excellent. Well, I hope you have a really good meeting, and we'll probably speak later when we're
we'll join you on your meeting as we're coming back from ours later on this afternoon. So yeah,
okay, excellent.
Look forward to
it. Thank you guys.
So, all right. And Tariq's been very good at kind of focusing in on getting people to calls and things, which is great. And it's lovely to see someone so young being so focused. And so we all need to refocus ourselves to do the same thing. Angus, how have you been getting on this week?
I'm ashamed to say I've had this week off. I've been visiting. We've been to see Liz's brother and his wife, and we're living in a cabin in Kent.
Oh, lovely. How nice.
It was good. It was good. It was very
good. Well, I'm sure that you enjoyed it, and that's the most important thing. You have to take time out every now and then.
That's what I said.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, to have to crack on this week.
Yeah.
But it's Tomas, I know, has been busy. I've been speaking to him. He's on the train at the moment. Paul, how are you doing?
Mr. Bertie.
Which Paul?
Oh no, Paul Burton. Bercy. Sorry, Paul Bercy.
Paul, Mr. Bercy.
Yeah, I'm doing fine, thanks. Yeah, no, I've had a good week. As I said, I mentioned right at the start before most people were here. I had a meeting with someone who's in charge of a lot of VAs and virtual assistants, and yeah, she's we've been talking some time, and I actually gave her a proposal for. She wasn't sure how much she wanted to spend, so I gave her different alternatives. So she'll probably end up having the Extend and the Ascent. So very good, and because she has lots of links with people as well, so that's part of the reason. And I say I've had a meeting with a professional football as well this week, so for the business, you know, and it's got huge links because he's an ex-professional. So
wonderful.
So yeah,
look forward to seeing that come to fruition. David's driving, so we won't ask David.
Jax is there though.
But Jax is there.
I'm here.
Hi, Jax.
I'm here. I've had quite a good week. I've reconnected with a nutritionist. I invited her to the meeting of minds.
Yeah.
And that reignited and her getting tests for clients. And I said, we really need to get this set up for you to, you know, rather than recommendation to us, which really hasn't happened.
Yeah.
That was how she wanted to work, but you to be able to do this yourself. So
and far better that she gets the benefit of it, which
yeah.
you'll get the benefit in kind anyway. So
yes. And I've found out subsequently somewhere she works is a whole network of people who work in preventative health. So excellent. You know, you can open that up for her, or I can mind that. Another person I've been talking to who works in the maternity and pregnancy sector, and she's really keen. She's asked me loads of questions this morning. She finally watched the videos, and I've said what I need to do for you is connect you with my colleague Sue. She's so knowledgeable. So I was going to ask you for some.
Of course, I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
So I just said I need to speak to you for your availability.
And we've also got, remember, we've got the Balance All pregnancy pack as well. So that pregnancy pack is really powerful.
Yeah, that's how Dave contacted initially, and quite some time ago, and then I sort of jumped in. So that's a good one. And I did an invite to speak to Dave about on the business sector with someone else, completely out of the blue, on can't remember whether it was Dave's words or Marco's words from the meeting on Monday. And I literally, and he was, I open to every business.
I love it.
So yeah, that's a good one. So hopefully, yes.
Well done. Well done. Yeah. Dermot, how have you been? I know you've been under the weather recently. I hope you're muted at the moment. Dermot's in Spain.
Yeah. Trying to get over all these health problems.
Yeah, I know.
I will, but it's taking time, much longer.
Listen, you're still the most energetic 89-year-old I know. So, you know, thank you, Zinzino, for keeping you healthy up until now. So, you know, we all have little challenges that we need to do. To get, which is fine. So yeah, I know that you want to connect with Ruth as well. So Ruth in Spain. So happy to set that up whenever you want to. Just keep going. Just keep going. Kelly, how are you doing? Are you in a position to speak, or are you driving? Kelly's in Ireland.
I thought you said this.
Obviously not. Well, and I should let all the people know in Ireland, we've got Dr. Colin coming over. He's going to be there on the 12th and the 13th of April. So I shall be coming over as well. I'm not sure whether Nigel will too, but I think it's probably just going to be me because there's too much going on. But it will be such a good meeting, and he wants as many people as possible. So now is the time to start. Anyone you know in Ireland, get them there, and I think it's at the Radisson Blu. I will confirm that as soon as I can. But it's going to be an amazing evening meeting, and obviously we're going to do a partner meeting as well. So, you know, kind of whatever you're doing, change your plans.
Will that be a full day meeting?
Yes, it will be. Yeah, it will be a full day.
Hotel, most likely, at the airport.
Yeah, it's very convenient there because it's so close to the airport. So if anyone has to fly in and fly out, they can do so. Which is kind of normally what I do. So I'll probably be flying in on the 12th, and then coming back on the 14th. So just stay for 2 nights really. I just really want to remind everyone. So Paul, when you joined with your pack, your ultimate pack that you did, you automatically got a 200% ECB, which means that it means that you would get triple points for whatever you do this month. So any partners, any customers that you bring in, if you've got the 200% ECB from the campaign last month, guys, then you automatically do that as well. So it means that you're going to get triple the amount of volume for every single order that you put in. So it means that people can accelerate their earning potential that much more. So it's a great thing. So kind of milk it. So I know Michael's put on, I think he said he's put on eight customers this month, and he's got more to come. So keep going, Michael and Tanya. Well done.
Are you in a place to talk, Michael? Do you want to just share some stuff with us?
He's in the car, but
is he? Okay, no, not to worry. Not to worry.
I don't want to distract him from driving.
I just wanted to get some feedback from Paul, Mr. Burton, actually, and just to what's your first few days been like, Paul?
Is my microphone on, Nigel?
It is, yes.
I didn't know whether it was or not. Well, the case you're very kindly helping me with, she's a very, very good friend, and I'm very, very worried about her. And despite the fact that she was in hospital, as poor as she was, she doesn't realise how poorly she is, Nigel, and so she really, really doesn't. But last night I noticed she was on the phone all night to her friends, talking about everything we discussed about inflammation, all the anti-inflammatory she's taken, the steroids. And that's what I wanted her to do, because she's got a few friends that like a few beers, that have atrocious diets, and they've all got some health problems.
Yeah.
I think she'd be a launch pad to get quite a lot of people involved across in Manchester, which is 100 miles away from where I am. But these meetings, like including this morning, are just so useful for me, and the rest of the team, of course. But I learned so much from you, and so it's incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Really appreciative. And you pitched last night to this lady at just the right level, because she's not been, didn't overdo it. The detail was absolutely perfect. Yeah, so I'm very grateful to the pair of you. I'm very lucky to have the backup, very much so.
Well, just keep sharing. That's what it's about. You know, this is a business that does change lives. There's no question about that. Well, two ways. One is people's health, of course, but the other side of it is there's a big money opportunity, and it's getting bigger all the time. So that's
choline. Is it CH?
Yes, CHOLINE.
I'd never heard of that. Did a quick Google during it. I'd never heard of that in my ignorance.
It used to be classified as a vitamin B, one of the B series, but actually they've reclassified it on the basis of it's a slightly separate compound. But it is crucial in all kinds of processes in the body, and its absence causes problems, as any nutrient level does. And by the way, it is essential. You've got to get it through your diet. You can't synthesize it. You synthesize it, but you don't manufacture. Your body doesn't manufacture it on a normal basis. It's one of those things you've got to consume.
And the balancol, you said, enhances
membrane formation. That's what choline. Part of what choline does. It's crucial in terms of proper liver function.
Yes.
So an absence of it is a challenge, and people don't recognize it.
Yeah, no, I found that quite exciting to learn something so new for me.
But what we also do know, and Paul, this is now the direction of travel that Paul Clayton's talking about, is the rise in the incidence of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is significant. Now, if the two things are related, I would suggest that not enough choline in an adult diet, and this is one of the factors why we're seeing an increase in it. All these nutrients missing out of the diet that people have got, and that's because they're not eating fresh foods.
Yes.
Too many crappy foods, which not in everyone's case, I'm sure, but it's too many processed foods in people's diet. When I sit and watch kids eating, I was at a function with River and Lolly a few weeks ago, and they were having snacks and everything, and the amount of chocolates, sweets and what have you, all processed. And one particular parent, who you will know, Nigel, Laura,
I do.
She just like sits her kids down, and there's a big bag of sweets for both of them. And I'm just thinking, what are you doing? And you wonder why they're a bit off the wall, because they're just getting so much crap in their diet, which is a real worry. Luckily, Lauren doesn't do that with the kids. They have the occasional bit of chocolate, but
well, she does get battered by us, so that's probably one reason.
yeah.
Well, she gets battered more by me because she doesn't take it from you, but she will from me. Yeah, we're trying to keep our grandkids healthy, let's put it like that, as much as is possible, and give them the best start in life, because knowing what we know now, it's been coming on for a long time, these nutrient deficiencies, and nobody ever gave it the sort of the sort of prominence it's now being given, and yet there is still this groundswell of ignorance that's well supported by the food industry, selling people stuff that's not actually very good for them.
You and Susan were saying last night about lasagna. I've, not that it matters two hoots, I've had a restaurant, and Elizabeth, my other half, is a trained chef, but I can't make a lasagna as tasty as the stuff you get from a certain company at £1.20. It's stunning to eat. A little bit of salad. Okay. So it's really cheap, really tasty.
Yeah.
And it's ready, as you said, in the microwave in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's what we're up against, isn't it? Really cheap.
Absolutely. They make it taste fantastic. It's called the bliss point.
Yeah.
Bliss point.
Yeah, because that's when the dopamine gets triggered, because you taste, you go like this, and it goes, whoa, poof, and that's dopamine release.
Fabulous.
And it's chemically driven, and it's addictive, which is why people go down the aisle and pull the same thing off every time.
Yeah.
It's a self-perpetuating mechanism for the food industry to sell its product. So what's in it doesn't matter too much, as long as they're delivering the chemical response.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm back on my hobby horse. Sorry.
No, but very interesting. Really interesting what you said.
Okay, listen, we're going to close it today for now, because we've got a nearly 2-hour journey to get to Heathrow. I'd like to leave a little bit of time. So unless anybody's got any issues or points they want to raise at this moment, we'll call today.